The 32-year-old woman accused of posing as a high school student, she faces new charges after pretending to be a traumatized child while collecting a salary as a Massachusetts social worker.
We're learning new information about the woman accused of pretending to be a student at 3 different high schools in Boston. As WBZ's Christina Rex reports, investigators believe she may have been involved in other crimes.
This is Shelby Hewitt in her Sharon High School yearbook 16 years ago. She's now 32 years old, charged with forgery and identity fraud for enrolling in and attending 3 different Boston public schools in the last year.
She enrolled in 3 schools. Trial call me.
Now, this is Shelby Hewitt. She's a former social worker for the Massachusetts Department of Children and Family. Now, Hewitt graduated both college and graduate school, and she worked as a social worker for the state. Now, while she was working for the social worker of the state, she began doing strange things like creating fake student accounts for some crazy reason.
Prosecutors allege while Hewitt was working as a social worker at the State Department of Children and Families, she created multiple names and dates of birth for herself and several fake social workers to spread a false narrative she was an extremely traumatized child with significant special educational needs.
She kind of reminds me of Michael Jackson. I mean, if you had such a traumatized childhood, you want to be around kids because you never really enjoyed being a normal kid.
Investigators say last year 32-year-old Shelby Hewitt enrolled in 3 separate schools, presenting herself as a teenage foster child as young as 13, going by the names Daniela and Ellie.
In reality, the defendant was a woman in her early 30s who had attended both college and graduate school and was employed as a social worker.
It's not a laughing matter when somebody is shaking like that, but then at the same time, when somebody is shaking like Courage the Cowardly Dog, it makes me think like, yo, did you push yourself into that position, or were you convinced by somebody else that you were doing nothing wrong?
16-year-old Janelle Lamont says she befriended Hewitt in school when the pair had 3 classes together. She says she suspected Hewitt had some mental health troubles because she'd have outbursts in class, but never suspected she was a different age.
I was definitely shocked, and my friends were definitely upset because we accepted her as just like one of us.
The 32-year-old Canton woman is accused of posing as a 16-year-old and then a 13-year-old and attending multiple Boston public schools for the last academic year.
Very betrayed.
This teen befriended her at Burke High School. She says they had class together and talked on the phone often.
She just kind of seemed normal, like nice, sweet, quiet.
Now, Hewitt was thankfully discovered because they went a little too far. See, there were people who were helping Hewitt in this particular scheme. The condo that she was living in, the owners of that condo posed as her parents and then had the nerve to call the school saying that their daughter was being bullied at the school. And school officials became a little suspicious of the charge.
We were at the condo as school officials visited last week. No one answered, but according to city and court records, the owners of the condo are the same people who told school officials they were her parents. Police say the fraudulent scheme unraveled after the man who said he was Hewitt's father claimed he was withdrawing her because of the bullying that his daughter was receiving at school. The school officials grew suspicious because she just enrolled the previous week.
So after the authorities started looking into this new student, they discovered the truth. Hewitt wasn't a imposter.
Boston public school officials alerted authorities this summer after administrators discovered a DCF form had been filled out incorrectly and the social worker listed on the form was not actually an employee there. Prosecutors say Hewitt didn't act alone. She had 2 purported foster parents, one of whom is another social worker.
Now, the part that bothers me is that she didn't do this alone. There were a lot of other people helping her do this scheme. Even other social workers were helping her pretend to be this young girl. I don't know why.
If you infiltrated somebody, why would you take action so more eyes are looking at the issue?
My questions are, what was their end game?
Big question here has been why? Why would this woman pretend to be a high school student? That question was not answered today.
What was actually going on here?
Your Honor, that investigation is ongoing.
Prosecutors still have not revealed why 32-year-old Shelby Hewitt allegedly pretended to be a Boston high school student, attending classes at Jeremiah Burke, Brighton, and English high schools over the course of the last year.
The why will be answered. But again, as I mentioned in court, this is a young lady who's got severe mental health challenges.
Hewitt's attorney says she's been getting mental health treatment since the alleged scheme unraveled last month.
As a person that has a disabled child, I can understand you want to put your child in a normal environment so they can grow, adapt with other students, right? Normal kids, because it's important for them to understand specific social cue. I can get that. But why the heck would you call and complain about something when you already faked the ID that you could go into the school as a young person when you're 30 years old? You're already there. So to me, something doesn't click. And I know what's click. Just like my prosthetic eye. I got 3 more. Click, 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 click.
So the police didn't believe that mental health stuff.
Hewitt pleaded not guilty this week to 9 counts, including felony forgery, identity fraud, and larceny. Her attorney insists she was never a danger to anyone.
She's a person who's had a lifelong history of mental health challenges. She's in treatment, and she's working towards making herself a better person.
We're learning new information about the woman accused of pretending to be a student at 3 different high schools in Boston. As WBZ's Christina Rex reports, investigators believe she may have been involved in other crimes.
Prosecutors allege Hewitt used her position as a social worker with the Department of Children and Families to instead create a fake identity as a teen in DCF custody, with fake emails, documents, and phone numbers used to enroll in school.
This intricate but false narrative of being an extremely traumatized child with significant special educational needs and emotional needs.
In reality, she's a 32-year-old with several degrees. This 2016 UMass commencement program shows her master's degree is in school counseling.
This is clearly a mental health case.
Hewitt's attorney says she has serious mental health issues and is in treatment, and he believes the focus should be on Boston Public Schools and how his client slipped through the cracks.
So we have a woman who forged all these documents, pretended to be a young girl, goes and makes friends at these particular high schools and middle schools, has this elaborate scheme with multiple players helping her do this. If I wasn't a more cautious man, I would believe this seemed to me, again, I have no evidence of this, so this is just me pontificating. I want to make it very clear. This seemed like a grooming operation.
Personally, even if she was suffering from mental health issue, I wish her the best. Because if it's true that she has mental health issue and she's in that position, that means somebody made it possible so she can be there, and that is kinda dangerous. Because sometimes you use the nicest person for the worst thing because you're giving them love. And trust me, when you really miss love, you will do anything, and you might turn a blind eye to certain situation. And that's sad. But as a father...
No. Wait.